The logo is berserk. Welcome to all caps. Almost said Pin and Dragon. So, yeah, well, guys, what's going on? I'm all flustered now because the logo didn't work correctly. But we're here to celebrate a very big deal. Our Kickstarter Anthology exclusive Rings of Adventure. I have here two of the very special authors a part of the program. I have Bushey, who is like the instigator of the whole thing. You're the masterminds behind the operation.
Yeah.
It is his fault. And we also have K.E. Andrews. Katie's here as well. She's one of our magnificent authors creating short stories for the anthology. Welcome, both of you. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. It's late on a school night. It's all right. Happy to be here.
Late on a school night. Well, I mean, what a better way to spend it than talking about short stories with amongst your fellow nerds. So, Ro, what kind of inspired you to do this thing? This is kind of, as you said, your fault.
I'm a masochist. It was something that Mike Molman and I were talking about a couple of years ago, and his first reaction was absolutely not. No way. not doing that. And we started talking about it again, I think around November, and realized that, okay, he still didn't want to do it. I called a few people and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing. Would you be interested in doing it? And like 5 of the first 7 people, I think, or first 6 people I called were like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And so I went back to Mike with that, and he said, all right, fine, we'll do it. So, yeah, then we just, got out the Rolodex and started calling folks. And I think probably of the 30-something, almost 40 people that we called, only maybe 2 kind of begged off because they had, really busy schedules and couldn't commit to it and didn't want to, do it kind of half-assed. So, yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, it was an honor to get the call and be a part of this anthology. Katie, I don't think we've interacted yet officially on any podcasts. So, what have you written thus far? Like, are you a fantasy person? Are you a sci-fi person? Are you a horror person? What do you do? What do you specialize in?
I specialize in fantasy and poetry. So I just published my 16th work last week. It was a poetry book. It was more just like a personal exploration of grief. So it was more just kind of on the down low. I've not marketed it yet. It's called Crying in Costco. So it's just like a little collection of poetry. But fantasy is really where my heart's at. I would love to do some sci-fi. I personally am scared of horror, but I've written like 2-ish horrifying things now. So dark fantasy is usually as dark as I've gotten. But I have like some cozy fantasy short stories. I have a cozy dark fantasy, Hills of Heather and Bone, which was a SPIFFO 9 finalist. I'm like, what year was that? So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I started publishing during the pandemic, which was, a real great time to start publishing. So that's
and you already have 16 out.
Yeah, one's already in an anthology, so I count that one. So that was a short story I wrote in college that got picked up. So I'm happy to be in another anthology because I'm like, man, all these people are getting into anthologies. How does one get into an anthology with all cool people? So now I know the answer.
Well, you know how to get into one at least.
Yes.
Well, fantastic. So both of you guys are kind of prolific authors in the indie space. What are you doing? What muscle are you exercising with your short stories in this anthology? I am kind of trying to stretch my sci-fi muscle, if that makes sense. Are you guys approaching this as like a way to experiment and kind of explore?
For me, yes. Yeah, I this short story I want to write like a larger world that it takes place in. So this story is kind of more not really like a fairy tale that exists in this world, but it's kind of a cautionary tale that exists in a larger realm that will come up like a little bit later. But really I was like, I'd love to do some nautical fantasy. That seems like really fun. Because I don't know, last year I was listening to a bunch of sea shanties There we go. And I was like, let's write a story about that. And then Rose like, hey, do you want to do a short story for an anthology? And I'm like, oh, perfect. We'll test that out. So yeah, not that I will dive into horror probably as an author, but just like this was kind of an exploration in like how dark do I want to go with my writing, and then can I write about a ship? So
right, that's a good test.
And that's a dark ship that you wrote about too.
Yes, it was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and me too. Reading it, it's like, oh, this is nice. This is like, oh my god. Yeah,
that's a good review. I haven't read everyone's stories yet. I just finished a draft. I've got a bunch of notes back now. I got to go back to the drawing board a little bit, I think. But Ro, how have you approached this project? Like you're not only spearheading it, but you're also writing in it, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, and I tend to write just fantasy, so I just kind of stuck with that. But I think writing short like this is a whole different kind of writing thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, instead of writing 60 to 120,000 word novels, we've limited it to 5,000 words. And I think the best experience of this whole thing so far is having this many really talented writers together. Is they all will give you feedback, very honest feedback, right? So the story that I have now is not the first one that I wrote, because some of the feedback was like, yeah, you've got too many characters for a 5,000 word story. It's not going. It's like, so it's like, okay, well, we'll rip that out and, start over. But it's really excellent kind of experience to have and get that kind of feedback from people. I'm surprised people don't do this more often, quite honestly.
Yeah. And having that feedback on such a small thing is also very encouraging, because if you spend your time writing a massive, story, and then you get all the feedback, the feedback you get is going to be, if it's good feedback, it's going to be hard to hear. So, and that could be really intimidating to actually go and fix now that massive thing. But if it's just a tiny short story, 5,000 words,
right,
that's not that big of an ask to go through. And okay, let's take this advice. Maybe I heard someone say, I think it was Bill Hader. He said, talking about writing, if you give somebody something to read to critique and they have feedback, their criticism is almost always correct, but their suggestions to fix it are almost always wrong. And both of those things are helpful. You have an arrow pointing at this, and you have a solution that is an interesting solution, but it's easy to say, okay, this is not the correct way. What's the next level below this? So it's kind of like a hint of where to go, kind of. So, and having that feedback on something small is a great way to exercise your writing muscles, I think.
Yeah. I think it's nice too, because again, as everybody in the group is a writer as opposed to, editors or whatever, kind of counterintuitively, they don't often give you the solution, right? They just highlight something and say, something's not right here, It's like, I don't know what it is.
I got fantastic feedback.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them told me what to do. So yes, that was very cool. They just said, I don't get this. Not even they didn't get it, but it was like, it has been this many words and you've now introduced the conflict. Can you introduce the conflict by word 10? Because with 5,000 words, I mean, you got to get ahead of that. So part of my rewrite is figuring out, this is my conflict. What's the best way to introduce it? And also not get in the way of the tone of the story, because I want this kind of mysterious kind of thing. So I guess I lean too heavy into the mystery of it in that first draft. But this next draft is turning out, I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Katie, you've read a bunch of these, right?
Actually, I have not, because it was falling. No, so what had happened
was... The beauty of a live show.
Yes, I will read everyone's when they are published, most likely. So so what happened was is I had finished mine, and then I took on 2 editing projects at the same time, which I do not recommend. So I was already editing like 1,000 pages, so I was like, I just didn't have the mental capacity to do it. So I've just been enjoying everyone's feedback, either on, you know, their own stories and, you know, just seeing that. But I do agree, like, feedback can be, you know, useful if you as a writer kind of know like what to like kind of dig out of that. And you know, there's also great value in how you give feedback, because I mean I was in enough college classes where it was like, that's not a helpful that's not helpful feedback. I mean, it might be valid, but I'm like, this isn't helpful at all.
On your shoulder
So
right, yeah.
You know, knowing how to give good feedback that's, you know, not just saying this sucks or this is good, like that, I think there's such value in that. But learning also how to take critique is hard. So, but I was grateful for the feedback that I got, because there were some terms I was like, oh, that's what the term was. I've forgotten what this was. So, you know, knowing when to kind of be like, okay, the reader's having problem with this. How can we adjust? But then also being firm in some areas where it's like, this is what I'm actually going for, and you know, we're going to keep that. So it's, you know, it's a dance with every story. So, because I mean, you know, you don't have to take an editor's advice, but you know, I feel like, or any like feedback partner's advice, but sometimes you miss out on some good changes.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this whole thing. I mean, from a writer's standpoint, is everybody, I think, understands that. So there's nobody out there kind of, you know, busting balls over whatever, saying, oh, dude, this sucks, or whatever it is. Ultimately, everybody wants, you know, we're all have the same goal, right? To make a successful project. So everybody wants to help everybody else's story stand up. And I think that's really kind of a microcosm of the indie community in particular, is everybody's trying to help everybody. There's not, you know, nobody has an arch nemesis writer, you know. We're all in the same raft trying to make it out alive. So it's all good. Hey, easy there, Mike.
It's hard being a line editor, so which is why mostly I do copy editing. So I'm like, we'll leave that for the line editor and the proofreader.
So, Katie, what do you like to read? Do you like to read the same kind of stuff you edit, or do you like to keep that separate?
I read almost anything that's interesting to me. It is predominantly fantasy, but the last couple of years it's mostly been indie fantasy and self-published fantasy, just because that's the sphere I'm in, and people are like, I have a book coming out. I'm like, sure, I'll read that. So I'll read anything that's interesting. But I do try and like sprinkle in some nonfiction, some poetry, some things that aren't fantasy, just to kind of be like, I have other interests. But yeah, I'll read a lot. There are a lot of traditionally published books that I would like to read, but again, the amount of indie that's on my Kindle, I'm like, we need to get through some of that.
Yeah. And there's more and more every day.
But that's a good thing.
So that is a good thing. It's a good thing. But there's more and more every day. So what are your guys' short stories about? Can you give little hints of what you're working on?
Go ahead, Katie.
Okay. So mine is a cautionary tale, I guess, about a sea captain and her crew that they're looking for a mysterious ghost ship. There is some magic in this world. The ships are made out of bones because the gods live in the trees. So to kill the trees is a great sin. So they use these magic wielders who know how to kind of shape the bones, draw power from the bones to kind of command the ships and also build the ships. And so that's her power, is she's connected to this ship. And they're going to go search for this ship that may or may not end in tragedy. So
ghost ship stuff.
Pretty
good. What about you, Ro?
So this is coming out. The Kickstarter starts September 1st with the idea that what we're offering supporters of the Kickstarter is a story every day the month of December, at least one story every day. So it kind of started off as kind of like an advent calendar idea. It's a little darker, I think, as a whole, than you would expect. I think this should be called Rings of Darkness, perhaps, instead of Rings of Adventure. But the body count is really kind of impressive.
Oops.
But I went a little more traditional with it. It's kind of a found family. So you have a gentleman who is, a sword and axe wielding kind of fighter with a group. It starts off with them defeating a dragon, and it bookends with them facing another dragon, with a new cast of characters surrounding the guy, who had kind of was finished with it after he lost his friends, but kind of came back around to it. So I'll leave it there.
Oh, the ring reference in mine is there is a ring that's attached to. Yes, there's a ring that the captain finds that leads her to the ship. So it's a literal ring.
A ring of adventure.
And mine, I guess, is a ring as well that is at the end. It's what some nefarious wizards are looking for, which they come across at the end.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sci-fi. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please.
Yeah, mine is a sci-fi. I usually do fantasy stuff. I've had sci-fi ideas, but I haven't touched them yet. So this is kind of dipping my toes into the sci-fi world from kind of a fantasy methodology, I guess. Maybe it was two fantasy, the first draft. But in the future, once we're in space, diamonds, gold, platinum is worthless. You get as much as you want. Wood,
next to
trees, log cabins, those are expensive because you can't find trees everywhere. So it follows a group of characters who go out into the universe and they look for things that are like trees. More often than not, they find things that are almost trees and they can't quite use them to build things with because if you sit on them, they'll bite you or something. So it follows this character who is an artist. His only job on the logging expedition is before they, tamper with the world, he has to paint a portrait of it. So it's kind of a weird look at memory and time as it relates to.
Wait, take me to the third gen.
Eternity, if that makes sense. And the reference to rings is they land on a certain planet in the story, and they happen to find trees that actually have tree rings, which is rare. For a tree to actually have tree rings, you need to have a planet with a tilt, so it has seasons, so it has dependable weather, and then the tree itself needs to decide to fall asleep during cold times. That way, you have the season of growth, the season of dormancy, and then that is what makes tree rings. So on Earth, like if you go to the equator, there are a lot of trees that don't have rings because they're growing at a constant rate, and they don't create rings. If you cut them open, they're just one color. So they're very excited to find trees with tree rings in the story, and that's the basic premise.
Sci-fi people will really like that for a couple of reasons. I mean, one is the whole tree ring thing I didn't know. And the other thing was, I remember seeing something with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think it was like a TikTok video or something where he was talking about just that. He said probably one of the rarest things in the universe is wood.
Oh shit!
Yes, I saw that and I got angry because I had already started the story and like Neil deGrasse Tyson's already talking about it, and I saw someone else mention it and I'm like, I better finish this thing quick before other people jump on the tree wagon.
Everybody will be on it. There'll be Star Trek episodes about it soon enough.
Yeah. So cool. It's been fun to write this short story. Usually the products I take on are really, really big and they take forever to finish. So it's cool to actually focus on a smaller thing and finish it. I've written one other short story for another anthology, and it's always a fun exercise. I try to experiment each time with something that I don't usually write. And usually it means I write a crappy first version and then I've had to figure out what's wrong with it and then fix that. So did you guys have any false starts as you were working on your short stories, or was it just full steam ahead for you?
No, I mean, my first story went through the editing process, and I just crumpled it up and threw it away, started again. So yeah, and that happens with books sometimes too. But it's much more painful when you're throwing away 30, 40,000 word start and get on it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mike, finish your story. I want to read it. How about you, Katie? Was that ghost ship just waiting for you?
You not see me?
So I had it written.
You're writing it.
Pretty fairly early, and then I had my own writers group kind of critique it, so they were my alpha readers. So I had to just kind of move some sections around and cut out a lot of stuff just to kind of get it closer to 5,000 because I overwrote. So most of the story has stayed pretty much the same, but I have like cut out a lot of stuff. I made a little things clear and just added a little bit more
I don't know. Hold on, let me get off.
Some of the mystery without. Because that was also the same thing. I'm like, I want it to be more mysterious. I don't want it to be like super clear until like the end. But, you know, just need to add in a little bit more of that. So most of the story stayed the same.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting doing it from where we're coming from, though, because I mean, like, you do your story and you go, okay, there's my story. I'm done.
Can you see me now?
And we're sitting there going, okay, we're trying to herd 36 cats. To get stories and all that kind of stuff. But I will say this group has been spectacular in the fact that there have been a number of people who have kind of stepped up and done things, right? So this art here, you know, we originally put out this font and everything, and someone says, oh, I'll make the cover, right? I'll design the cover. It's like, oh, okay, thank you very much. And then somebody else said, yeah, but they you know, they let it sit for a week or two, and then they came back and said, what do you guys, are you married to this? And we're like, oh, you knock yourself out, you know, if you want to try something different. And so Trinity Cunningham and Michael Vadney kind of tag team on that, and, you know, used the same art, but kind of gave it, made it a lot cleaner and nicer, right? So we have people doing those type of things for the betterment of the group without us ever asking them to do it, you know. But like I say, because everybody has the same goal, and that is for this Kickstarter and for this anthology to be successful for all of us. And it, you know, I think for supporters of it, it's great because what they get out of it is they get a taste of 36 different indie authors and what they can expect from their writing. Because between us, I don't know, there's several hundred books.
Maybe do you want something cool?
Oh yeah.
Victoria Clapton probably has 20 on her by herself, and yours, Katie, you're saying you have nearly that as well. I've got 10. JCM Byrne has a bunch. You know, Dave Dobson is no slouch, obviously, having won Spiffbo or the space version of Spiffbo just last year, I think. So we've got some super talented authors in the anthology, and it's not just people, you know, sending, you know, banging out their 5,000 words and saying, okay, we're done. You know, there so many people are helping us, so we're not kind of drowned in all this administrivia of getting it done. And a special shout out to Trinity Cunningham, who is liaising with a Canadian printer for us. So all these books will be printed in Canada, and, you know, I think they're going to just look amazing when they get done.
Especially with all of the art that's been done, that's been the most exciting thing to see. So I've not read all the stories, but I have paid attention to all the art. And so, you know, just like the chunk of stuff that Dimitri's done, but even like those who have done their own art, like that's also super impressive to do. So I'm really excited.
Always amazed by that. The people who can, I'm super jealous of it, and I kind of hate it. But at the same time, I would love to be able to do it. Administrivia is a word that's been a word for a long time.
Come on, Mike. Forever. anybody who'd like to follow the Kickstarter, there's a QR code next to my head here.
Yeah.
You scan that, it'll take you straight to the Kickstarter. And also there's a link to the Kickstarter in the description on YouTube for you to follow as well.
So if you haven't
speaking
done
of
that,
the Kickstarter, we have some fun like levels that people can we talk about that? Or are we waiting for the Kickstarter launch?
Yeah, we can talk about it a little bit if I remember it. I wasn't expecting.
That's always good because I don't remember the levels.
No,
I don't want to spoil anything.
I'd have to look something up, but I'll try to do what I can.
I learned, while Rose looking up, I learned an amazing trick. Summoning the dark arts is something that happens in a lot of fantasy stories, but rarely in real life. So I've been taking some classes with some people in some back alleys, and I've learned how to summon an orb of energy. I can only do it for a couple seconds, but if I really focus really hard, I can bring up an orb of energy for this moment. That's about as much as I could do. But it's
your kids
let out of me. I need to eat some peanut butter now. It gets me get some power back. But
it looks good.
Ro, did you find it? That almost killed me.
No, I was actually listening to.
I did it before the show. I didn't drain me that much.
I know. I loved it so much. No, my Google Drive is taking forever to open, but we can just try to. So a lot of our so the basic level is the try to remember what the basic level is. The basic level is actually, I think, an ebook version of everything, right? That will be sent out at the end of the year kind of thing. The next level is you get an email every day, right? So there's your kind of advent calendar-ish kind of thing, right? Every day you can open up your email box and there'll be a new story. It might be fantasy, horror, sci-fi, or romance. It's going to skew largely fantasy. So if you're thinking it's going to be a even distribution, and then it goes up to the print book, right? So again, working with this Canadian publisher, we're planning on, and all the levels after that are mostly
that's what it was showing me for you too.
Additions to that print book, the foil covering and the embossing and the sprayed edges and the internal end paper, printed and all that kind of stuff. So,
fancy one.
But we're planning on about 40 color pages, right? So all the art will be in color. That's the plan. And it is we've gotten a lot of great art. Jesus de Silva has a couple pieces in there. Dmitry Yakovsky has a bunch. We do have a couple of our authors who have Miriam Yvette has done one or two, I think. A really cool piece I saw just the other day. Saffron Asteria, I think, has done her own as well. So all these people showing, multiple talents that everybody else wishes they had. Mm-hmm. There's no other reason than to save a lot of money. But there you go.
Yeah. Do we have the audio tier? Was that something we actually landed on?
Yeah, actually.
I was about to say, I remember we were talking about it before and then we switched to what we actually wanted.
Right. So what we were going to do at one point was, if we reach a certain level, do an audio book where all the authors read their own stories. And then after talking to each other on things like this, we all kind of realized that we sound like baboons. So we said, let's not do that to people, right? Let's not make people listen to us for that long. So we talked to a couple of, and I forget her name, I'm sorry. Mike will throw it up here in the comments, I'm sure. So if we reach that level, we're going to have them professionally done by an actual audio narrator. So yeah, that's kind of the top level of the thing.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, and I've made some trading cards. I'm not sure where those, like all the authors and all the art trading cards. I'm not sure where that will fall into it. So we'll have to see how that. Tracy Ortolano, that's right.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. It's just some of us are not set up for that.
Yeah.
And I know,
depends
like,
on the story as well.
And some of us, like, we don't pronounce our own character names, so we're figuring out how it's pronounced in the middle of the sentence. So, yeah, I'm fine with leaving it up to the professionals as a tier unlock. I guess maybe if we do ultra premium tiers, someone else can record their own short story and send that out. So,
well, when I first started mine, I had that in the back of my head that I might have to read it. So that really affected choices of like names and like descriptions and like dialogue I would have to perform. So a lot of it was from the perspective that I might have to perform this. But now that I know that I don't have to, I can go crazy.
Do you guys do that when you, especially writing fantasy, when you're making up names? Do you think to yourself, people are going to have a hard time, or do you just go, look, if they're like me, they're just going to see the name and go, yeah, okay. I don't even need to really enunciate it. Just
people love George R. R. Martin. I don't know how to pronounce half those names until the TV show came out. And I was wrong on half of them. And I was like, Most of the time with my books, I'm like, if someone says a name, unless it's like truly off, I'll be like, that's how it's pronounced. So I usually don't get into it.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
I allow myself one weird fantasy name a book.
Just one.
And it can't be over 3 syllables. My target audience skews young, so I try to find names that they've probably heard before, and it's something that it feels more Shakespearean than modern, I guess, for my stuff. But yeah, I try not to get too crazy with the pronunciations, not get too crazy with made up languages and things like that. I'm more interested in character motivations than their names being unique.
How is it doing writing for a younger audience? I mean, purposely writing for a younger audience. Is that more difficult? You have to kind of like pull back some of your impulses?
Yeah, the first draft is always way more violent than it should be. Usually I'm able to tone things back by just changing a few verbs. In the short story, there is a there's a death scene that almost kind of appeared in one of the Song of Bones stories, but I removed it because it was a little bit too much. But that kind of thing fit in this kind of sci-fi world, and I put that kind of more violent, visceral thing in this story, and I'm pretty proud of it because it's about 3 sentences, and it's pretty. I feel it's pretty brutal.
Kids have seen a lot today.
Well, yeah. Well, it's hard when you want to write cozy, but you also write dark fantasy. So having to navigate between those is fun. It's been a fun adventure.
You can really mix the two, I think.
I did a cozy dark. I called it cozy dark.
There you go.
So, but then when I was writing some of my cozy stories,
I would describe Stephen King's It as cozy dark.
T. Kingfisher does like cozy horror. So that was a whole Dragon Con panel, and I was like, it exists.
Cozy horror's a thing?
Well, so think of Over the Garden Wall. Like it's kind of cozy-ish, but there are horror elements, so it's terrifying, but you're not yourself. There is going to be hopefully a cozy resolution. I'm trying to think of some other ones that would be kind of cozy horror. Oh, maybe Nightmare Before Christmas is cozy horror. I don't know. That feels cozy horror.
Coraline,
yeah.
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah,
but when you want to try and write true cozy, it's like we got to dial some of this back.
Yeah. How would you define cozy then?
For me, it can't be like too sweet. Like it's more comforting and warm. My kind of cozy is kind of like chai tea, where there's a little bit of bite in it, but it is still soothing. It's still warming, but it's still going to have like a little bit of a kick at times. I couldn't do just like super sweet, like, our biggest crisis is maybe we lost the mail or something. Like I want there to be a little bit of stakes, but we know like it's going to resolve in the end, and it's not going to be like too graphic of like darkness, but that's my kind of thing.
So Cozy, the character's failing doesn't equal death. The character's failing equals, oh, Grandma's going to find out that it was me that sent that mean message.
Or in one of mine, it was the little girl didn't do her chores correctly, so it unleashed a man-eating plant. But they fix it in the end. They fix it.
That's good.
It's a little shop of horrors.
Cozy because it takes place in a garden and Grandma's there.
Is Grandma threatened to be eaten by the creature?
At one point, but it does get resolved. So
okay, is Cozy Horror just Grandma in peril?
She doesn't die. No one dies.
So that's the whole thing about Cozy. Then it's like all the people you start with, you end with. Is that kind of what we're getting at?
That's the goal. That is the goal. They may be changed along the way. Like, failure may leave a sting, but it's like you'll be comforted in the end. Whereas dark fantasy, people will die. Someone will die.
So cozy fantasy follows like sitcom rules.
It can.
You have conflict, but things return to normal. So the next episode can happen for the same cast.
Sometimes, like maybe when you return to the end, things look different, but there is still like positivity and hope. So, like Legends and Lattes was a little too boring for me. It was cozy. It was all cozy, but I was like, I'm kind of bored. I want like a little bit to kind of undercut the sweetness, so I can appreciate the sweetness a little bit more. So that's where my cozy dark falls. Like there's some cozy moments, and there's like at the end you feel like a nice warm hug, even though we've cried and we've watched these characters kind of suffer a bit. But at the end we're like, it's all worth it. We're all together and everything's fine.
Well, Ro, it sounds like next anthology that you guys do, you need to have a big old draw bag where everyone picks out a genre, and you sprinkle in like one or two like poisoned cozy.
Oops,
fantasy
all
cards.
romance.
That's a fantastic idea.
That way you have the people who have no business writing romance. They have to write a romance.
That is a really good idea. The big old random anthology.
That could even be like, so before the story begins, it has like the cards the author drew at the top. Like fantasy, horror, twist ending? I don't know. Maybe they pick three things. They got to mix those things together.
Wow.
It's like the creature creation. We roll the dice, and then whatever number
it's
we
like
get
creature
is
creation.
Story. But story creation.
Ooh. What if the next anthology you must include some creature creation thing?
Oh, goodness.
That is such a good idea.
I included one of my creature creations in this short story. So
I think an anthology about just creatures.
That would be fun.
Everyone has to bring a creature in some way. I think that's fun.
Yeah, again, it's difficult getting everybody to not to agree on it, but I mean, even with the rings thing, there was a little bit of, what constitutes, and so we were pretty careful up front. It's like, man, bathtub rings, we don't care. Just a ring of some kind.
The phone ringing one, I'm interested to see how that one
goes.
Oh,
that was actually really good.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I was this close to deciding to do a more of an audible rigging. So I have some notes for a story about. I have a short story on my website on norlandpress.com. It's available for free. People can download it. It's called Whiteout. It's kind of a Stephen King's It kind of situation. It was like kids on bikes, have to fight an evil. So it would be with that same group of characters. But basically, one of the kids on his route, he hears an alarm clock going off in the woods. And that's the setup.
I already don't like that. I mean, alarm clocks are annoying enough and a dreaded sound, so I can imagine.
But only certain kids can hear the alarm clock.
Oh.
Does it stay with them no matter where they go? Or if they bicycle away from it?
I think it goes off at like a weird time.
Okay.
There's a weird time it goes off, and then
All
it'll
alarm
stop.
clocks go off at a weird time.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's morning time.
exactly. That's all right.
Yeah, anthologies are fun. It'd be
Yeah,
cool
well,
to have like.
you can head the next one there, Isaac. That's all on you.
I would like to do like, what if we did like instead of having 30 people in one, we take that 30 and we chop them into 3 groups. Like this is, you guys are this anthology, you guys are this anthology. So it's like a trilogy of anthologies that all come out at the same time, and they have different themes, but they're interconnected a little bit.
I can see Rose's face just like
Yeah, that's more work than I want to
the
do, man. I have a
spreadsheets.
job to go to, you know.
It's the same as 30 stories.
Well, you can organize. I'll be happy to write one for you.
That'd be cool. One day when I'm adventurous.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. I liked, like the previous show, I asked the guests what their favorite short story was. So do you guys have favorite short stories?
from the anthology?
No, just from general.
Oh, just ever?
Ooh.
Yeah.
No. I can't think of one. That's a problem.
I know I have one. It's just
Frog and Toad, maybe the one where they're in the hole.
okay. That is a short story. My friend Sarah wrote one. It is published. It was about these people who live in pumpkins, and like the pumpkins rot as the season goes, so they have to like find new homes. So it's kind of like the Borrower movie a little bit, but I just kind of liked it because it's a little bit like it's weird, cozy, like, you know, oh, they're living in a pumpkin, they're tiny little people, but their home's also rotting around them, so they have to kind of like find a new home. So it was a fun short story to read for her.
Do they have to find another pumpkin? Are they partial to pumpkins?
I think so.
Okay. So they need to find different pumpkins growing at different times out of season.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they find like a fake pumpkin and they think it's a real pumpkin.
That would be the solution.
Or horrible. Maybe
be.
they have. Are they eating the pumpkin?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Because I think you live in the pumpkin to also eat the pumpkin.
That
I
would
think
make
that would
sense too.
Otherwise,
Maybe
you're
in the
going out to
second book.
hunt. Where do they hunt? What? I need to know about their society. How does the pumpkin people work?
I don't have the answers. I was there. I loved it. I was there for the vibes.
Okay.
I
Don't
didn't
make her
think too
change
hard.
her answer, man. She's gonna hate this story.
I don't know.
Well, one of the only
my
short
favorite
stories I can actually think of, just given a few minutes here, brings you back to like 8th grade English class. The Lottery. Did y'all have to read that?
I don't
Remember
remember.
that?
I did.
It's the story of this. It's been so long since we read it. Everybody's getting ready in this small town to go to the lottery, right? Where they pick someone every year, or whatever it is. And it turns out at the end of the year that whoever they pick, they have to kill. Right? I forget why, but the fact that the story has remained with me in some fashion in my head for all of these many, many years must say something about it. Because Lord knows we were assigned a lot of things to read that I don't remember at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if Bartleby the Scrivener was a short story, if that was like a novella.
Bartleby the what?
Bartleby the Scrivener, Herman Melville wrote that one, I believe.
Sounds familiar.
It's basically about this guy who doesn't want to do anything, and then he dies.
Oh, what a lovely story.
And I always remember the line, he's like, I'd rather not. Like he was given the option to do something. He's like, I'd rather not.
Oh, wow. Is that the final line?
I don't think it's the final line, but I think he says it a lot.
Oh.
It's just one of those guys that gives up, just doesn't do anything. Yeah, I can see the kind of parable there.
I was very fond of some of Tolkien's short stories. I liked Farmer Giles of Ham. If you've ever read that one, I liked that growing up. I also like some of George R. R. Martin's some of the stuff he did like in the 90s. He did some weird sci-fi short stories about I think it was in a collection called Tough Voyages, I think is what it was called. And it's about this really, really fat guy who's a genius and is always right. And it's just George R. R. Martin's self. And it goes on how fat and beautiful he is and how smart he is. How nobody trusts him or believes he can do what he can do, but he succeeds at everything. And it's very maybe unintentionally funny, because I'm just imagining George writing about himself as this fat genius in space. And they have some fun sci-fi ideas. Basically, he finds this spaceship that was built 1 million years ago, and he learns how to drive it all by himself because he's a genius. And he's fat of no fault of his own. He just is fat. It's not his fault he's fat. He just is fat. And he's beautiful. It goes on how beautiful he is. Oh, it is. It's a fun one. Tough Voyages.
Oh, I also remember Bartleby the Scrivener had weird names. There's like a guy named Turkey, Nippers, and Ginger Nut. Now, granted, this was written in the 1800s, so the names in there are wonderful. But literally, the guy's just like, I would prefer not to. And then he dies. That's it's a wonderful story. I think Archer, there was an episode of Archer where they quoted Bartleby the Scrivener. So I was like, oh look, it's in pop culture.
Bit of an Eleanor Rigby thing kind of going on there.
I have a character named Coyote in my short story for the anthology. One of the notes I got back, everyone who read it gave the same note. Like, is this a coyote? Is they didn't know right away it was a person named Coyote. They thought, is this a coyote? Are you doing a coyote in space? So I have to like make that clear from the get go that it's a guy named Coyote. But that was a good note.
See, and when they give you that thing, I mean, yeah, you could change it, but that's
his name is Coyote.
Right. That's on them, totally.
There are worse names. There's Duncan, Idaho. That was a choice.
Duncan, Idaho. When I read Dune, I lived in Duncan, Oklahoma. So it was very distracting anytime Duncan, Idaho appeared.
I just think donuts.
Yeah. I never thought donuts. I thought this is my crappy hometown where we have more cows and churches than people.
There you go. I've been to Oklahoma, so never had to live there for very long.
It was fun if you like, the wind trying to kill you twice a year.
Right.
And
we get that here, but not as violent, I would say, as Oklahoma.
Yeah. There was a pretty violent one, I think, a couple months ago. It hit north where we used to live. But yeah, the tornadoes, and I'm in Miami right now, and I love Miami. We haven't had to deal with a hurricane yet, but at least the hurricane, it's coming. It doesn't wake you up in the middle of the night. Like, do I have to run to the basement right now, or am I okay? But Oklahoma, it would get hot during the day, and the air would be hot, and the sun would go down, and it wouldn't change. It would stay the same. In Miami, the sun will get very hot, but the air is cool. And when the sun goes down, everything cools down. So I much prefer Miami, even if it's more humid, than the constant heat in Oklahoma.
I'm in Georgia, so we get the humid.
There are places to live where the weather isn't actively trying to kill you.
Where?
There are.
Oh, is that Virginia?
Well, parts of Virginia.
We have the snow, so.
Yeah, but snow.
We got freaking blizzards in Oklahoma. That was a nightmare. Every 2 years, we'd have a monster blizzard just kill everything. Like, power would be down for weeks. Our cows would be falling through the ice. We have to go out with the tractor to pull them out, or they would die. So that was a nightmare.
For that.
I did not like dealing with that. And the cows did not go to church.
They might after they fall through the ice.
No, they died. They went to hell. They did not. They did not have fun.
Because they didn't go to church.
Yeah. Praying worked. We never got hit. So that was good.
Well, I hope you don't have to live through a hurricane.
I've been told usually when they come toward Miami, they either go north or they go south. But who knows? Trinity, living in tornado country, I guess. I'm not sure where Trinity is from. Where's Trinity from?
Like Canada, somewhere out in Western Canada.
Canada? There are no tornadoes in Canada.
I was about to say.
She's talking about cold.
Yeah,
she's talking about
I think
blizzards.
she's talking about the blizzards.
Yeah, my brother-in-law is from Canada, from Regina, Canada. Regina, Saskatchewan, or I don't know, one of those places. He stayed with us on the farm in Oklahoma one winter, and he came to me. He's like, Isaac, I've lived in Canada my entire life. I have never been more cold than in your bunk room last night. So Oklahoma and Canada, the Great Plains going up, are kind of like we went to like a little roadside museum in Oklahoma that went through like, here's the animals of Oklahoma. And then we did the same thing up in Canada with his family, and it was the exact same exhibits. So
well, it makes sense because they couldn't cross the mountains probably.
That's true. That's true. We have those plains. And
I
I
would
think
not
because of the
have
buffalo.
pegged. I would not have pegged Canada as having tornadoes.
No, she was talking about blizzards.
Okay, but she said
No,
and
tornadoes.
Yeah.
She says tornadoes.
I just wouldn't have thought that.
Well,
because you're connected to Oklahoma.
Getting
it's
one
the
or
same
two
thing.
and having them are different things, right? Because there was a tornado, I think, that touched down in Vermont a couple of weeks ago. But Vermont doesn't have tornadoes. They are occasionally visited by one, you know?
I've heard of like water spout tornadoes, fire tornadoes. I think a snow tornado would be the most terrifying of tornadoes.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you
wouldn't be able to see them. It would be dark. It'd be absolutely dark. There'd be no light at all. And it'd be cold. You'd freeze to death before you get blasted to death.
That would not be fun.
Yeah.
Wild.
Stay safe, Trinity. Don't let the snow tornadoes get you. Use the cows. Use their bodies to block the tornado. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
That's how you can see the tornado is the cows.
That's right. They make that noise as they're screaming. As they're going around.
Yes. That's how we do it.
The tornado
not the
siren
train sound you're looking for. You're looking for the sad moves as they go around.
That. The original version of that is the cow going. Just going away in the circle. Oh wow! Maybe that's the next anthology. You know, ways that cows die in the Great Plains.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I would not have expected tornadoes in Manitoba. Wow.
Man. Tornadoes. We got to do something about that. We need more global warming. We need more climate change.
Well, I mean, aren't we doing that as authors by writing books and cutting down trees?
But now you get the groundwood paper that's supposed to be better for the environment and supposedly cheaper.
Kindle told me this.
You did.
But all my stuff is digital anyway.
It's like groundwood it's kind of like a yellowish paper.
Do you have an example there?
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. It's nothing fancy.
It looks like paper.
I guess
What's the finger feel? What's the finger feel?
Like a normal book, honestly. No. Just it's soft.
So we are trusting Amazon that they're telling the truth.
That is what
doing.
we're
Dye the paper.
I mean, it doesn't feel like the normal white paper, which is very smooth. This one actually has like a little bit of texture to it. So.
Okay. What's the texture for the anthology book, Ro? Are we doing groundwood?
That's tier 10. You get to pick your own
just kind
texture.
Of, you know, we don't know yet.
We get a scratch and sniff one or like the fuzzy one.
Scratch and sniff would be awesome. Although having
each story has its own little scratch and sniff.
Good.
This one smells like despair.
I have
hopelessness and loss.
This is one of my greatest things I own. It's the art of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh my gosh!
It's an art book from all of the stuff in the movie, and in the middle of the book, if I can find it, where are you? Every year or so, whenever I go through a sketchbook, here they are. I return to this, and I grab a brand. Where are you? No, you're.
It's got a very specific microphone.
There you go. I'm back. Is this it? That's not it. This is taking too long. I apologize.
You're the only person I know with a Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs art book.
Oh yeah, I'm the only person in the world who has this.
I didn't know such a thing existed.
They stopped making them because they were so good. People were eating them in the stores, I guess. Is this it? That's not it. I used to be able to open this up straight to this page. Oh wait.
Maybe you need a bookmark.
You're right, I do. Well, it is a bookmark. The thing I'm looking for is a bookmark.
We got just
well, it doesn't sound. Oh yeah, we have these bookmarks
just for you.
Oh, hooray, bookmarks! I need to look back at those and see them at some point.
I actually need to get some before
Okay, this
November.
is taking way too long. I apologize. Ro, you have to tell me, with all of the anthology stuff you've been doing, the most about,
about putting it together?
Yeah, getting all these authors together, and I found it. Comes with gigantic scratch and sniff stickers. Huge.
Nice.
Like this one's as big as my head. So whenever I go through a sketchbook and I filled it up, I always take one of those scratch sniff stickers, I stick it on there, and I go to the next sketchbook. So I've had this it smells like fruit, this book. So
yeah, I don't think I've come across a piece of fruit in any stories of this anthology yet. But if you have
I've got fruit in my story. There's fruit on the tree. Yeah, there's a tree.
Oh.
It's got, I think it's apricots.
Okay.
So there is fruit.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't get scurvy.
It looks like another fortress, but overworld.
Very cool.
All right, I stand corrected. To answer your question, Isaac, the thing that surprised me most,
it's
because obviously when we called up folks with this ridiculous proposition, how many people just said yes right away and were excited by it and continue to be excited by it. And I sent out something saying I'm going to start a Discord channel here in a couple of minutes. And I had started the Discord channel, and then I started writing the letter saying I'm going to start a Discord channel. And before I finished the message, there were like 3 people on it already. No. So everybody was just kind of all in, ready to go. And we have people from all over the place. And we've got some people in the UK. We've got at least 1 or 2 from Australia. Yeah. A bunch of our neighbors from the north up in Canada and across the U.S. So we've got a good wide stretch of folks and as we said, genres and what they're doing. So for folks who support the Kickstarter, they will get a really good wide kind of diverse look at a bunch of different things and hopefully find their next favorite authors amidst the 30 plus that show up on this.
And hopefully this begins a wonderful tradition of indie anthologies led by Ro Bushey.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be maybe every other year.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe you and Mike can trade leadership roles.
No, Mike is the guy with the spreadsheets, so he actually knows what's going on. I'm more of a kind of winging it person, but Mike does not like winging it, except for during Balding, which is just a total, let's see what happens. Yeah, he likes making spreadsheets of who's done what and who's, submitted blah, blah, blah. So it's a good partnership.
Excellent. Well, it has been an amazing show here on All Caps. I'm so excited to see this anthology out in the wild. I can't wait till it launches on September 1st.
Yeah, September 1st. Yeah, I'm really excited for that too. Hopefully goes well. We've got about 80 or so people watching it right now. I really hope we can get that number up to. I'd like to see 150, 200 by the end of August. So hopefully we. Yeah.
I forgot. Did we talk about like releasing the art? Is that like helpful, or is that going to spoil like too much of it until like it starts to launch?
I think that'll be okay in bits and pieces. That's there's so much good art. I know we've got at least probably 24 pieces of art right now for it. So some
and every time the art is posted or shared, it gets put to the top of the stack in algorithm land. So the more times you post it, the more eyes on it, the better it is. So there's probably an opportune time to start, and that probably is now, because you want people to go to the Kickstarter, click, oh, let's save this for later. So I don't think there is a wrong time to post it.
No, I think, we all have different audiences. We have some overlap, obviously, with each other, but people will gravitate towards. I think everybody, who follows like you or Katie or any of the other authors here follows them for a reason, right? And so when they say, hey, I'm doing this thing, there's going to be kind of an interest to say, what's his or her part of this thing. And, hopefully if they take advantage of it and join us on this thing, they'll get to see what everybody else is all about as well, and find somebody else they might like to check out. And as authors, especially indie, for us, this is much about, getting ourselves out there in another way as writing another book, right? But it's everybody kind of working together toward that end. And right now, that's the thing that's not only surprised me the most, but it's made me feel the best, I think, about this community. And that extends out to people who follow indie authors as well, right? Because obviously, without them, we're talking to ourselves. So
true,
and writing to ourselves, which is boring.
I have one other random question. Do we have an idea of how many fantasy stories we have, sci-fi stories we have, horror stories we have? Do we have an idea of where everything lands? It might be cool in the future to do shows specifically with those groups.
Yeah,
have the sci-fi night, have the fantasy night.
No,
we have our smallest category is probably romance. And it's romance that's tucked into another genre, right? So it's kind of like romantasy kind of. Fantasy is by and away the largest, but a lot of it's dark. So you're almost up against that kind of borderline of fantasy horror in some aspects, and some sci-fi too. I've read it. I haven't read everything yet. I'll have to here in the next couple of weeks, but there's a lot of good sci-fi in there as well.
Yeah. Well, I've had a blast so far. I can't wait to see everything done out in the wild. Everybody, like and share and subscribe to this channel. Go in the link and save the Kickstarter. What's the language for that? You go to the Kickstarter, you click bookmark?
What it is there's a little button there that says notify me on launch, right? So right now there's not much more than what you see behind me on there.
Yeah.
We will start populating that with more stuff probably here in mid-July. But if you just click notify me on launch, and you'll get notified. And
follow the project, people. Cool. Thank you everyone for joining the stream. Thanks for coming on and joining me here. It's been a blast. I'll see you guys next week.